What's that, Robo Lawyer? You're complaining about your assignment. Why are you complaining about your assignment? You and Pencil Dog are having trouble with your assignment. Question 3. Yes, did you see that? There was a mistake there. It left out a word in that question 3 part D. I sent out everyone an email to let them know. I said, look, we've got to fix this up. And what's your concern? That you can't find all the answers in this book, the textbook. No, you've got to look more further than this, because the law here, it's only parts of the legislation. You're going to have to look at a complete set of the legislation. You can get that on Ostly, yes, especially to find out what the penalties are for those questions. In question 3, yes, you're going to have to go and do it properly. What's that, Angel of Learning? Yes, they have to, yes. Do a bit more reading, yes. You've got to be very careful, yes. What's up, Pencil Dog? Pencil Dog wants to know what a strict liability offence is. Well, a strict liability offence is an offence which a person is held liable for, irrespective of whether or not they had the intention to do it. So they can't say, generally with criminal offences, the story is you've got to show that a person had a criminal intention or intended to, a guilty mind. But with strict liability offences, if you fail to do the particular thing for whatever reason, then you're held to be liable. That's why it's a more compliance, like if your parking meter expires or something like that. Now, the fact that you were held up and couldn't get back to the car in time, that doesn't excuse it. If you overstay, you cop the fine. That's what a strict liability offence is. So it's important when you're looking at question 3. Yes, you look through the legislation, see whether it does see what sort of offences they are and what the penalties are. You do have to do a bit of research. Yes, and it's true, yes, you do come across topics we haven't done in class yet. You've been paying attention to the homework questions I've been giving people? I'll put them up on the discussion board. I don't think anybody watches that discussion board. Probably they don't watch this either. But it's all going up there. We've got statistics tracking enabled, so we can see who watches us and who doesn't. Yes. What else? And the questions about the court case, about charges and floating charges. Well, it's probably a good idea to read what they are first. It's in the textbook, give you an understanding, and look at the sections in the legislation. If you read the case through a couple of times, it shouldn't be that difficult. You should be able to answer the questions on it. I thought it was a reasonable sort of case, that one. Yes, so that's do your assignment, get it in on time. Most people tend to, but they tend to do reasonably well on the assignment, so that gives them some marks for the assessment. What else is what other problems? You tell me, what other gripes you got this week, Robo? All about directors' duties. Too much. Well, yes and no. Look, well, that's what the law is, Robo. That's what we've got to cover. It's no good saying, well, we're only going to learn about some of the directors' duties, and because people go out, do this course, they expect us to know what it does say. Sometimes maybe we should leave it for 2 weeks, you think. Well, what I tend to do is I have 2 weeks at the end spare for revision, and that's when a lot of it starts coming together, and after next week's lecture it'll make a lot more sense too. But there's some very important ideas, and the video of the lecture I gave yesterday, it's up there now. Yeah, okay, important ideas. Directors have duties, and they owe the duty primarily to the company. The company is a separate legal entity. But the directors have to look after the company. It's sort of like being responsible, caring for the company. they're a carer, sort of, so they can't take advantage of the company. That's the general idea. And the general law gave a set of duties, and then the legislation also sets out the statutory duties, and they're much the same. They're very, very similar. The difference is that ASIC enforces the statutory duties, whereas the company itself enforces the general law duties, and there are different outcomes. Yes, we can have that's right, civil penalties, Angel Learning. That's, yes, you could, yes, like, oh yes, it's not quite as bad as a criminal penalty. That's right, but and the standard of proof is the civil standard. That's beyond reasonable doubt. So you need to know about civil penalties, need to know about the different sorts of duties. And the other thing I said in the lecture is sometimes it's very hard to identify exactly what duty the director is breaching. And as I told them yesterday, I said, look, if you're not sure, list them all. List the ones you think might fit. You don't have to eliminate one, because sometimes it's hard to identify, and it may be that the actions actually constitute a breach of several duties. Yes. What's that? Pencil dog? Breaching section 184. Yes, well, that's a bit dangerous, because that carries criminal sanctions. That you can end up going to jail if you try to breach that one. So, got to be careful. But yes, although there is a lot of material, oh yes, there's lots and lots of overheads, weren't there? There's lots and lots. That's why I had to go through and I pruned it down. I put up a summary of those chapters. I took the overheads and left a lot out, and that's what we're going to. That's what went up on the on Blackboard. So that's what we've got. So anyway, director's duty is very important. And when you're working on your assignment, everyone else is going to read ahead and find out stuff, Robo. So you're going to have to do that too. Yes, that's what you'll have to do. And use the legislation, the full legislation, not just the stuff at the back of the book. That's silly. That's why I prescribed that legislation, for that reason. But yes, that's right, Angel Learning. You can get it off Ostly as well if you haven't got it. So I hope everybody's right now with it. Yes. Well, that's been a fairly comprehensive run through of all the things. One other point. I found another point. That's right. We don't do Chapter 21, Financial Services and Markets, in this course. So if someone's saying, when are we doing that chapter, or it's not mentioned anywhere, that's right. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, well, we'll all say goodbye. There's Angel Learning. You can say goodbye from Angel Learning, goodbye from Pencil Dog, goodbye from Robo Lawyer, goodbye everyone, and we will be back again, I think, sometime, won't we? Bye.